Episode 3.
Episode 3, Game Changers, baby. Welcome back.
Let's go. Super excited to be here. This episode, we wanted to literally film like 3 days ago because there's so much is happening right now.
We got a lot to yap about today.
We're gonna be D1 yappers today.
D1 yappers.
From D3 athletes to club athletes, we're D1 today.
We're D1.
Yappers.
We made a jump. I know last week we said we could never be professional athletes, so we're professional yappers today.
That we are. Wicked excited. Have a lot to go over. The Olympics are approaching. There's a lot of stuff in soccer, a lot of gymnastics stuff. Can't wait to cover some glizzies. We're gonna make
we got some glizzy debate to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we do all that, first and foremost, remember to follow Game Changers on all social media at Game Changers ETB on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter /X, whatever you choose to call it these days. Follow the network at ETB Network on pretty much all the same socials, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course, as you should. And what's next?
Also, quick thank you, because our numbers, they just told us what our numbers were from episode 1 to episode 2. And, it's not about any of that for us. We're literally just two besties having fun.
Two gals on a couch.
And, I didn't even care to look at them. I was like, it's whatever. Holy crap, guys.
Yeah, thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you. This is crazy.
And interacting. We appreciate it. Really, truly, from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
All right. Our lovely ad.
Before we get into fun stuff, we got to do we
first,
gotta get our bag. So please.
But first, yeah.
Please let us get our bag, and then we'll do the fun stuff. Sorry about that. My bad.
Presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others. Obvi.
Of course.
But we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysts and commentary, and invite viewers up for a Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and social experience. From playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching the commentors and communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.etv/ETB Network.
Playback.tv/ETV Network.
We'll just run that back.
Run it back. Try again. You got it.
Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB Network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. Yay!
Sometimes words are hard, but you got through it pretty good.
Words are often really hard for me. It's like a perfect combo of the ADHD and a little bit of stutter, but more so clutter, the head.
Clutter?
No, that's what it is. It's clutter. It's
Okay.
when the words in my head go too fast for my mouth, and then my mouth is just ugh.
I see. Understood. All right. Low-key, Kelsey and I are going to breeze through the news this week because we really want to talk about the focus of everything that we want to talk about.
Capri Sun should sponsor us at this point.
Yeah, Kelsey's giving them free ad room. Anyways, let's move along. Let's do some news. We're going to start with some WNBA news because there's been a lot of WNBA stuff, but let's start with the legend herself. Breanna Stewart is the fastest player to 5,000 points in WNBA history. She did it in 242 games, beating Diana Taurasi, who did it in 243 games. So she did it in one less game. So shout out to her. And Stewie has just has been the most dominant WNBA player, I would say, since she joined the league in 2016 or so. She's just great, and I love watching her play. And she's also so chill. I've been at events where she's been at, and she's just goes with the vibes, goes with the flow type of gal. But so far, her accolades: she's a 2-time WNBA champ, 5-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, and the Commissioner's Cup MVP in 2021. So shout out to Stewie. Shout out to the WNBA. That is some cool stuff, wouldn't you say?
Wicked cool.
Wicked cool. All right. Moving along now. Now we've got some NWSL news. The Utah Royals have announced a reorganization. If you don't know, the Utah Royals just joined the NWSL this season. Their head coach is Amy Rodriguez, who was a former U.S. Women's National Team player. She was part of the team that won the 2015 Women's World Cup. But they basically fired her and fired the goalkeeper coach from their positions. And one of the assistant coaches is now the interim head coach. At the time of Rodriguez's firing, the team was 2-2-11. So definitely not the start you want to have.
Negative.
But I would also say that Amy Rodriguez this is not the last time she will be a head coach. I think she really it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But I know Amy used to play when there was a team in Utah in the NWSL. She's on that team. So interesting to see where they go from here and how their record changes and outcomes and things like that. But yeah, that's that.
San Diego.
No. Now we made a little WNBA sandwich. We start with WNBA, do a little soccer. We're back to WNBA. You want to jump in on it?
We're here.
No, we're here.
Oh, you jumped. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're here.
Angel Reese is the first WNBA player with 10 straight double-doubles in a single season. Breaks recently retired Candace Parker record of 9.
Yeah, so Angel Reese tearing it up. She has an All-Star vote, or she's going to the All-Star game, excuse me, as we'll talk about a little bit later. Love her or hate her, Angel Reese is a baller. Baller with, like, all capital letters, baller. She's
quite literally.
She's a baller. And happy to see her getting, the recognition she deserves. I feel like a lot of people are in this debate about if they like her, if they don't like her. Obviously, a little bit overshadowed by Caitlin Clark when they were all playing in college. But happy to see her, getting her flowers, more or less, and recognizing her talent because she's talented. She's good.
I personally really like her.
I like her too.
I think it's like a running in like the sports world, at least for me. It's like if you had a leg sleeve or if you had an arm sleeve, like you were that person. Like you were good. Like you have to earn to be a leg sleeve or an arm sleeve. And
you gotta earn to be swag.
She's earned it quite literally. And the other thing too that I really enjoy about her is also her Instagram is just amazing. She's a baddie.
She just looks like a lot of fun.
She looks like she's a good time, but also if you look at one of her past interviews, I texted to you. She was just like, "I'm just a dog." And I'm like, damn straight.
Yeah, you are.
Put it on a shirt. Yes, you are. I'm just a dog. You can't teach that. Yeah.
She's cool.
She's awesome.
And I love so this is a side note. I love whenever Holly Rowe gets to interview her because I think her and Holly have like this chemistry.
Yes.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Perfect.
All right. Now we're moving on. As we mentioned earlier, the Olympics are coming up. The track and field trials just ended. So Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, that was a mouthful. Jesus Christ.
So
Love
you 10 times fast.
Girl. Sydney broke her own record in the 400-meter hurdles with a time of 50.65, which is unbelievably fast. I don't know if you've seen the clip. Kelsey and I just watched it.
Ridiculous.
There's like nobody near her as she's finishing. And when she saw that it was a world record, like the shock on her face, like that kind of says it all. Like that's kind of what I feel like the Olympics / like the trials and preparing for is like those emotions in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's such a big part of it. So I'm happy she got to experience that. She got to sign her name on the little Eiffel Tower statue that got at the track. And we'll see her tear it up. Maybe she'll break her record again. She did really well in Tokyo. I don't know off the top of my head like gold medals and silver medals, whatever she earned. But she is an unbelievable athlete. I think it takes so much to be a hurdle runner.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I don't know if I'll be able to or not.
I think it's just because hurdles are tall and we're not.
Yeah,
so I don't think I can
vertically
jump.
challenged.
I don't have the height there.
I think it's one of the more entertaining track.
Oh yeah,
events,
it is fun.
If you will.
It is fun to watch because it's also one where like I feel like a lot of times in certain track events like they bunch up a lot like when they're running laps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's got to stay in their own lane because they got to hop their own hurdle.
Yeah, dog, you said it.
Yeah, you know me. I'd be saying things.
Jessica Campbell.
I love this story. This makes me so happy.
This was awesome. It's funny. She had this in it, and then I sent it to you, and then she showed me, and we were both already on the same wave.
Oh yeah.
Jessica Campbell is named assistant coach for the Seattle Kraken, the first ever woman to be named an assistant, associate, or head coach in the NHL.
The first time.
We made it.
We're here.
We're here,
baby. Let's go.
It's awesome. That's overdue.
Exactly. So she was hired originally by the Kraken's AHL affiliate to be the assistant coach in 2022. And she was in the conversation to be the team's head coach when they were hiring a new head coach. But ultimately, it went to the guy who's head coach now, Dan Blyzema. And, I believe that they had coached together as well when they were both at the AHL affiliate. And now they're both up here at the NHL level. So happy for her. Happy to see a little bit of trailblazing, breaking down barriers, all that kind of stuff, giving women a spot at the table. A lot of people I actually saw in the social media discourse, which is always unbelievably toxic. If you want to get mad and be like,
scroll.
oh, these people stink. Go to the ESPNW comments. You'll have a great day. But ESPNW or another one of those women's sports pages posted about this, and they're all like, why doesn't she just coach in the PWHL?
Because a bitch don't want to.
Yeah, because she wants to coach in the NHL. And also, like, saying that and being like, okay, then no men can be coaches in the PWHL, but, like, so many teams have male coaches, head coaches, assistant coaches, things like that. So I really don't think your gender, really plays in a role in what sport you coach. If you can coach, you can coach.
If you got it, you got it. And girls got it. She could play with the big dogs. She could coach with the big dogs. And that's what she gonna do.
She proved it. The AHL affiliate of the Kraken were the runners-up of, like, their championship in the AHL. They were the runners-up. They lost to the Hershey Bears, who are the Capitals affiliate, and the Washington Capitals are my favorite team. So I take lots of pride in that because the Capitals are bad, but the Hershey Bears are good.
I'm a Bruins fan. Not that anyone asked, but just so that
nobody asked, but I'm glad you felt the need to share.
Thank you.
Now you got to take this next one because you're all about this. You think you can give this girl a run for her money? Let's talk. Let's hear it.
We're on it already?
We're on it. We're down.
Okay. The Olympics.
No, not the Olympics. We're talking about the
other
thing.
Yes. Okay. So, I don't know when you guys are going to be listening to this, but today is July 5th, which means yesterday was July 4th, which is actually, if you didn't know, just National Hot Dog Eating Day.
And it's also the 4th of July, so hopefully all of you had a great, relaxing weekend.
And fun 4th.
And had fun and you were safe, all that stuff.
Okay. So, Sudo was last year's hot dog eating woman's winner with 30. And then this year, she surpassed said 30 hot dogs at a time with 51. And when I was
10 minutes, no less.
Yes, in 10 minutes. And
which is nuts.
I'm like, holy crap. That's like, what's going on? How'd she like nearly double that? She's pregnant, so she was indeed eating for 2. So that math is mathing.
If you do the math, that's like 5 hot dogs a minute. Isn't it? Wouldn't it be?
That's really bad math because it's under 10 minutes.
No, it is a 10-minute. Like they have
5 hot dogs a minute. I thought you meant like
5 times.
I thought you
10.
meant like 5 minutes.
Right?
I heard that as 5 minutes, and I was like, that's really bad math.
Is my math right? Is it 5 hot dogs?
I mean, I'm never gonna question someone on numbers, but when you said 5 minutes, I was like, that's wrong.
Hang on.
Long story short,
I'm intrigued.
while she does that, I wholeheartedly think I can actually have her in a 1v1 because I love hot dogs and I feel like if I trained myself, I could do it. Like yesterday, sporadically, like if there's a hot dog in front of me, a little ketchup, mustard, yes, I do both. Fight me. I'm there. Like I'm there for it. And yesterday, 4th of July, obviously did I have 4 or 3 yesterday? I'm not proud, but it was really good. And I did feel it when I worked out today. But I was like, it's the 4th of July. Like, why not? So yeah. Sudo, 1v1.
You heard
when you have birth, like when you give birth though, because like I think you're kind of cheating the system right now.
No, she's not cheating the system.
I'm kidding.
She just trained really hard, like any other athlete.
She's eating for 2.
She trained really hard to be able to eat 51 hot dogs.
Do you think
can't just show up to the hot dog eating contest and be ready to go? Like, I feel like you gotta practice.
No, there is practice. Have you not seen that documentary about how much?
No, I haven't seen the documentary on the hot dog eating contest.
Here's the thing. I think I could do it, but the part that I really, and we were talking to Nick about this beforehand, the part that really just gets me that I don't think I'll be able to do is the soaking of the bread.
Oh, yeah, that's yucky.
Oh, we just got our math. It's 5.1 hot dogs in a minute.
So it's 5 hot dogs and then a bite of another one every minute.
It's the soaking of the bread that is the 0.1. I think I could do it. Just genuinely, the soaking of the bread makes me want to throw up. And like, if you just like see them afterwards, like it's just like they're just dripping. That's the part that gets me. But if we're just like If you really twist my arm, I think I could do it.
If it wasn't like a hot dog eating contest, what's a like food contest do you think you could win? Because I hate hot dogs, so I won't ever join a hot dog eating contest. But you know what food I think
You
I
don't
get?
eat hot dogs?
No, I don't eat hot dogs.
That's okay.
They're yucky to
I
me.
don't eat hamburgers.
Yeah, I'd rather eat a hamburger. I love a hamburger.
Oh,
if
I
can
don't
be so
eat
honest.
hamburgers.
But
Hot dogs, though.
I think if I could be in a food eating contest,
Pizza.
no pancakes.
Oh,
I think I could.
don't pick me as your partner.
I could put away pancakes. I love a good pancake. I could put away pancakes.
Putting away pancakes.
I could put away pancakes.
I could be. This sounds like the start of a mixtape.
That's my producer tag.
Yeah. Pancake. I don't know. No. Have you seen those clips though on like Instagram? Not to get like completely sidetracked, but it's just like
It's okay.
you get $1 million to eat all this, and like who you bring it, and it's like 3 large pizzas. I'm like, shit. Me and my friends, we
cook it.
we could do that.
Yeah, but
We'll do that for free. Just buy the pizza.
Yeah. So like, I've never been. I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant that has like a competition, like how they have like if you eat this whole meal in like 30 minutes, your meal is free or whatever.
I think I could do that. The only thing I would crack at is like if it's
The
like
time. I would do the time would crack me.
no, if it's anything spicy, just like fail.
Yeah. I
Can't do
wouldn't
it.
want to do it that. My body would hurt. Like I would throw up. I'd probably throw up regardless, let's be so honest, but like I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I don't like when restaurants do that. I recently started going to B-Dubs for Monday and Wednesdays for all you can eat wings, and then like I'd order my second thing of wings and I like eat like 2 and I'm like, I'll take this to go, and they're like, you can't. I'm like, oh,
That's lame.
it's so stupid. All right, next.
Enough food talk. Back to sports.
Not that we're hungry.
Not that we're hungry. Not that we haven't eaten lunch or whatever. Anyways, the WNBA All-Star roster has been announced. A bunch of players were named, most notably Caitlin Clark. She received the most votes, along with her teammate Aaliyah Boston. So they're both going, along with a handful of other people.
Angel Reese.
And they will compete against Team USA, the team that is going to the Olympics. So I think that's going to be so fun.
They are going to the Olympics?
So not the people who were named All-Stars are not going, but there was a handful of people who are on this All-Star roster who are not like named because they're part of Team USA. So like Sabrina Ionescu is going to be there. Angel Wilson's going to be there. Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi, they're all going to be there.
Brittany Griner's going.
Yeah, Brittany Griner's going. I think has the most All-Star named. Has been named an All-Star the most times out of anybody in the WNBA.
I wonder how people are reacting to her representing USA.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are happy about it, but I'm happy that Brittany Griner's here. She's a good basketball player. She's safe at home, and she's going to help the team win gold. So that's really kind of all that matters to me. But, yeah, all the All-Stars who are named are going to be competing against the Team USA that's going to the Olympics.
Cool beans.
So that'll be fun. And Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are the only 2 first-time All-Stars on the list, so shout-outs to them. Happy they're getting the recognition they deserve. And that's kind of all I got about that. Last segment of news before we get to jump into all the good stuff.
Nikki Hiltz.
Nikki Hiltz. I'm so happy for this. I've been following Nikki Hiltz for so long, I feel like, on this journey. And they
I was going to say, let me say what it is.
Oh, sorry.
We're just talking about her.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Or
Them.
Sorry.
They, them pronouns, babe.
Sorry. Nikki Hiltz, a transgender non-binary runner, has qualified for the Olympics. 1,500 meter finish sends them to Paris.
Yes.
That's sick.
Cool. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know the details all on how because there's a lot of debate in sports, as we all know, about transgender athletes competing in certain categories, certain levels. Like, everybody was so up in arms about Leah Thomas and, all the stuff that comes with it. And I don't think we really have the time to get into all of that today, but I'm sure we will in the future. But this is a really good victory for LGBTQ plus people in sports. You have somebody to look up to and see in sports who looks just like you, represents you and your community. And they're going to Paris. So what's better than that, truly?
I think, yes, what you said, like, you're going to Paris, what's better than that? I think I think one of the best things about sports is that for the most part, I don't even know how to say this correctly. Like, at least for me, when I watch sports, like, a lot of times, like, if it's at, like, the Olympics, I feel like it's the one thing where, like, politics don't matter anymore. Like, you're all representing USA, and, like, I feel like most Joe Schmoes watching are probably like, you know what, holy crap, like, you did that. Like, I think that's, so I hope they have, or we can give them that reaction of, like, you did it. That's my hope.
And let's hope they win a medal.
That'd be dope. That'd be sick, because then that's even more history being broken.
Oh, yeah. All right. News done. Out of here. Get it out of here. Let's talk about the big stuff. You go first. You do gymnastics first.
Oh, my gosh, guys.
Kelsey has been waiting for this moment.
I have been. You can't. Should we turn it around and show them that we have this? For those of you that don't believe how much we're watching Simone Biles on the beam right now.
She just fell off.
She did fall.
So, bad spot.
No. I think that's great, because that brings us to our other topic about MyKayla being.
I know, but first, let's talk about who's going first and foremost. Who's going to go?
Okay, I got you with the names too. I had to take a screenshot of my notes so that I didn't forget.
Water break also for everybody watching. Drink some water. Stay hydrated, everybody.
Capri Sun still sponsor us. Okay. So, the team that we have,
that's my phone.
That we have going to the Olympics is Simone Biles, Jade Carey, Jordan Childs, love, Suni Lee, and then Hesley Rivera, which, by the way,
Fab Five or whatever.
By the way, I love names. Not that no one cares, but I love names that you don't hear often, and Hesley, I think, is like top of my baby name list now. I think it's just so pretty. I also just think it's because she's the cutest human being ever, and she's only 16, and like girls going to Perry.
Good for her.
Like,
couldn't be me.
Couldn't be either of us. Okay, so the Olympic trials for gymnastics were Sunday. Yes, the Olympic trials like officially were on NBC like Sunday night or whatever. And I obviously was like glued to my TV. I was like sending Sav updates. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I wasn't watching.
I was like, everyone's falling. And like truly everyone was falling. I watched Suni Lee fall. I watched Simone Biles. She fell twice.
We just watched it together.
Yes. Also something that I think is really important to note about this is I'm very curious as to how. Okay, well, Simone Biles was a given that she was like a pre-qualifier essentially for the team. Like she knew she made it before everyone else announced it because they like said that she was in it because of something else. I don't know the exact reason. I think it's because of how she did the day beforehand or something. And then, if you didn't know, last year the team essentially was like Simone, Jade, Jordan, Suni, and they kind of just Simone, Jade, Suni, Jordan, and who was the other one? No, it was 4, right?
Grace. Wasn't her name? This girl Grace went last
I think. Was she an alternate or was she? I don't know.
I'll look it up.
That's where I lack. But essentially, this is the first. I'm speaking so loudly into this mic. I'm just so sorry for headphone users.
You're yelling at them.
I'm just so excited. Okay. So this is like a big deal because this Olympic team is breaking several records. I'm getting out of breath because I'm just so excited. This team has 4 past Olympians all on the team. So, like, talked about a stacked roster. This is it.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you, but the 2020 team was Simone, Suni, Jordan, Grace McCallum, Jade Carey, and MyKayla Skinner.
Well, that's with alternates.
Yeah.
Can you look up the alternates for this year? It's Jocelyn, and then I'm forgetting the other girl's name.
Yes, I will.
It's like Jocelyn Robinson, and then I can see the face. I just can't see the name. It's another young kid.
I'll get you.
I think she's like 18 or something. But anyway, this team, it's basically a team full of vets, and then Hesley. Hesley is the first. Oh yeah, perfect. And Lena Wang.
Yes, the alternates are Jocelyn Robinson and Leanne Wong.
Leanne Wong, my bad. Sorry, I was squinting reading off of that.
Sorry to keep interrupting you as you're trying to tell your story.
No, it's okay. So this is a bunch of team of vets, and it's like a really big deal. But the other thing to note about this team is that it's a typically in the gymnastics world, once you reach like 22, like you're considered old. Which is like wild because I'm only 23 and I consider myself, and my job tells me every single day that I am young. And they're like, even though you're not a kid, you're still a kid. And I'm like, thanks guys. But I understand what they mean. So back when this Olympic team went to Rio, and it was like Gabby Douglas, Lori Hernandez, Simone Biles, Allie Raisman, and Maddie, I forget her last name. But basically, Allie Raisman was considered like the grandma of the group because she was 22 and Simone Biles was only 18. Simone Biles has surpassed that, and now she's considered like the grandma of the group, but she's 27. So typically, like I said, it's like a much younger team that goes for the Olympics, but this is a vet team with age. So Simone is 27, Jade is 24, Jordan is 23, Suni is 21, and then Hesley is 16.
She's a little baby.
She's a baby, and the best part is, so Hoda Kotb is like a huge gymnast fan and a huge Simone Biles fan, and they did an interview with Hoda Kotb the other day, and they were literally just like talking, and then Simone just turns to Hesley and goes, "Can you even drive?" And she goes, "Yes, but like I can't. Like I technically can, but I like don't have my license or anything." And they're just like, "We should teach a girl how to drive before she goes to the Olympics. Like how you gonna be an Olympian, but like you can't get behind the wheel?
You gotta show up. Yeah. You gotta show up to school next year in first.
How you gonna be an Olympian, but like on your parents' watch? Like they're gonna take you.
How can you go to the Olympics but have a curfew of 9 p.m.?
No, literally. So besides Hesley, like it's an older team, which I think is really great, and I think another thing about this team that like it's their redemption. If you listen to Simone's music for her floor, it's Taylor Swift.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and it's just so awesome. This is their redemption tour 100% because they all essentially want their get back.
They're in their reputation era.
They are in their reputation era. They have overcome so much. So a rundown about these Olympians. Simone is the GOAT and has and will always be the GOAT. And anyone that disagrees with me, let's fight about it because you will lose. I got stats on that kid. But she's great. But obviously last year, she's human and she struggled and had some mental health. The twisties were real. And so she's getting her get back. Mm-hmm. Her. Suni Lee, not one, but 2 liver conditions that she has been fighting, which is insane.
And stop her college.
Yes.
Drop the team.
Yes. Which is insane. Jordan Childs, also an NCAA athlete. She's at UCLA and unfortunately just had 2 like major losses in her family and was like challenging that. Jade is also an NCAA athlete. So like you have to remember, like, yes, when you're that good of an athlete, like you're an athlete, but like you do still have some schoolwork. So like these
putting the student athlete, baby.
I think they're more athlete student at this level. Look, there's Hoda Kotb. I told you, she loves them.
She got a big old smile.
Yeah, she's like, that's my girls. Anyway,
we're getting distracted.
Sorry. So basically, these so Jade is also an NCAA athlete. She's doing homework as well. She's doing her thing. Look at you watching.
I know this.
And then Hesley is just 16 years old. So needless to say, this team has done a lot and is facing a lot and is like, I think this is the most legit team that we've had in a long time. And I say legit in a way of not skill because USA will always have the skill. Like the USA gymnastics world, they are just different compared to the other countries. They have figured it out. And even with all the new like safe sport regulations and everything that all these coaches have to do, like these athletes are still pushing crazy numbers and they're still training like you would not believe. And the whole reason why I'm getting to this is, one other fact about the USA gymnastics team breaking history is that for the first time ever in Olympic history, there are 2 all-around gold medalists on the same team. So Simone won all-around gold in 2016 at Rio, and then Suni Lee won all-around gold last Olympics in Tokyo, and that was when Simone withdrew. So had Simone, been able to compete at her absolute peak and best, who knows if she would have been able to get it or not, but regardless, Suni stepped up and she was able to win that. So it's very interesting as to how they're going to go for this Olympic Games and who's going to come through with it, especially because it was kind of the similar situation with Allie Raisman with floor and even with, I think it was bars as well, or no, beam, Allie Raisman and Simone. Like Allie said in all of her interviews in 2016, she was just like, it's not competing against my past self. She's like, it's not competing against my other teammates or competing for gold. It's just competing for my past self, because we've known all along that Simone would get gold, essentially. When she's at her peak, like, you just can't compete. I don't know if anyone saw her floor routine. It was amazing. And she also, on her very first pass, you get 4 passes on floor, which is where you do like all your big tricks, essentially. Simone went 12 feet in the air. The night prior, it was like 11.3, and everyone's like, oh, let's see if she's going to be as close as she was at 11.3. She'll probably be a little less. No.
More.
Girl flew.
Launched.
Like, oh my God. It just baffles me. Anyway, so having the rundown about this team.
So, now we got all that out of the way.
Yes.
Let's talk about the
Now
other
that
thing.
I gave you Gymnastics 101 and I'm out of breath.
Yeah, take a deep breath, collect yourself before we jump into this next thing.
I need to go to the store and buy more. Okay. So, MyKayla Skinner.
Oh, MyKayla, babe. What are you doing?
Like, literally, wait, where'd you say she was from? And that's why
she's from Utah.
Oh, yeah. Sav was making fun of the way that she spells her name, and she was like, it's because she's from Utah.
But I'm sure people from Utah also have normal names. I was just finding something to
we
pick
love
on
our
her to be a
fans in
hater
Utah,
for.
but, like, if you're friends with her, I'm sure she does mean well, and I'm sure she's a lovely person.
I just wanted to be a hater for a minute, as I normally do. Sometimes I like to be a hater.
Okay, here's my thing. I feel like I'm going to play devil's advocate, which is a big pill for me to swallow, because, like, I eat, breathe, sleep USA gymnastics, especially around the Olympic time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, though, as if MyKayla meant well when she said this. I think she was trying to talk about the comparison of her hours of skill training before they started to implement the whole safe sport protocols that they need to do. But there is a reason that safe sport is in play now. And for those that don't understand everything that's happened with USA Gymnastics, do yourself a favor and go watch Athlete A on Netflix. And it'll basically give you the rundown. It's terrible. But it needs to be put in place. And she was kind of hinting that, I'm trying to put this in simplest terms for those that are, like, tired of hearing me yap. MyKayla Skinner essentially said that, not in these exact words, but here's, like, the spark of the spark notes, that the USA Gymnastic team is soft. It has done better. They're not deserving, and that they need to essentially, like, bring back how it was, because the scale is not what it used to be.
Which is let's just start with the fact that is like
a quote.
An unbelievable statement to make. And I think the thing that kind of, like, makes it more shocking is that, as we just kind of talked about earlier about who was at Tokyo, like, these are her teammates. Like, these are people who she, like, worked together with and became close with. And even if she was just an alternate or whatever, like, you're a part of the team. And your job is, like, important to the success of the team, because if somebody goes down, like Simone Biles did, you need somebody to step up. And so you have just as big of a role as the people who are bringing home the gold medals, even if you don't have the opportunity to compete. So when I first heard about this, I was just shocked, because I would never talk about a teammate like that ever in my life. I would never talk about somebody who I went to practice with, played on a team with, competed with, made a connection with in some level. I would never, ever, ever talk about them like this. And especially, I would not talk about them in a vlog on the internet. Like, that's the other thing. Like, that's nuts.
It was a live stream. She was like, I'm just going to go and do this.
Nuts. But.
Oh, I wish I'm, like, scrolling through Twitter, and I kind of wish we weren't live right now, because it just said for the first time, Arkansas gymnast, Jocelyn, she's coached under Jordan Weaver, who was a past Olympian. Yeah. I guess she's talking about all of this, which I'm going to favor that. Sorry. I'm going to favor that so I can watch it later.
We'll fill it in.
But essentially, this was the most baffling part of it all. So she's, like, down talking. Okay, here we go. Besides Simone, I feel like the talent in the def just isn't what it used to be. She said, obviously a lot of the girls don't work as hard, which, like, False, because
How
I
can you say
gave you
that? Like,
guys
how
the
can you say
rundown
that?
of everything that these human beings are going through, and I would arguably say they're working that much harder because now that these gymnasts have always been put in like a little box that you need to be this way. And it was the best thing ever when Simone shined light on mental health for the sport, because now these athletes were considered human beings, where before it was like, you need to be this way and go represent USA, and if you don't do it, then you're not good enough to be on the team. No. And so now I would say that these athletes are almost working that much harder because they're battling physical, which they've been doing for years. Like, they've worked their lives to do this. And now the mental piece. And people don't realize how important and how heavy the mental piece is. Here's another quote. The girls just don't have the work ethic, MyKayla added, and it's hard to because of safe sport. Like, coaches can't get on athletes the way they used to, and need to be really careful with what they say, which in some ways is really good. And in the same ways, to get where you need to be in gymnastics, you do have to be, I feel like, a little aggressive and a little intense. There's a time and place. And again, playing devil's advocate, I understand what she was trying to say, that it's just different. And I mean, we were both coaches and we kind of said the same thing this year. We couldn't coach kids the way we were once coached. It's just the nature of the generation that's coming up. But like, there's still a way that you can coach these kids and be hard on them, but also still teach them something, give them valuable lessons on and out of, like, on and off the field or on and off the mat or whatever it may be, that like they can carry with themselves forever without being so hard on them.
Yeah, like I can't speak for all the coaches you've had, because I think on the teams that we played on together, we had really good coaches.
We were incredibly lucky.
Like the job of a coach is never to like tear down a kid so much and like make them hate themselves and like make them hate their sport, which I feel like a lot of coaches I've had made me feel that way. And it's important now that like as sports change, as people grow up, as things move on in the world, it's important to realize that like at the end of the day, the amount of children who play sports growing up, who play sports in high school, you know, that could be it. Like, they just play sports until they graduate high school, they go to college, they get normal jobs, they're normal people. A select few are so talented that they become Olympians, that they become professional athletes, they become Division I athletes. You know, it's not, sports are a way to have fun, to stay active, to meet people. And if you need somebody to be unbelievably hard on you, to help you work hard, that's fine. And we have players who we coach who say they need somebody like that. They need to be yelled at. They need this, they need that. But you also have kids who are just like, I don't really like being yelled at. Like, I don't respond well in that environment. I don't really respond that well when someone's yelling at me. So
I think it depends on the setting. I mean, Sav and I, if you haven't gotten the gist of it already, we were coaches together.
We say it every day. Every time.
We were coaches together this past spring, and we did a whole mental health workshop with, actually, you weren't here for that.
Sorry, I was working.
She was working.
I had a job at one point.
I was doing the mental health workshop with the kids, and we kind of just like talking about like, do you work well under pressure? Essentially, I'm a type of person where I will be my peak performance when I'm under pressure, and there's other people that are like, I will crumble at pressure, so don't even tempt. And I'm like, got it. So it's just everyone's different.
Yeah.
But more and more people are coming forward essentially about MyKayla Skinner's accusations. Not accusations, that's the wrong word. More people are coming forward about her comments and the way she's using her platform. Simone Biles left the conversation saying, not everyone needs a mic and a platform, which I think is the best thing.
That says it all, I feel like, low-key.
Yes. I can't wait for USA to just dominate in gymnastics, and it's going to be the best silent shut up ever, because they're going to just rock it, and she's just going to have to deal with it. I think the worst part about all this is like the disrespect on Hesley. Like, she's a little princess, and I want her to be protected at all costs. And the fact that she's 16, and in the live stream, MyKayla's she's like talking to the camera. She's like, is it Hesley or what is it? And then her husband's like, she goes, is it Heasley? And he goes, Hesley. And then she was like, oh yeah, Hesley. It's like, I understand that, yeah, that's not a common name, but like, your husband knows who the hell she is and you don't, and you were on this team last Olympics, and these are your current team or your past teammates that you're talking shit about. no, babe.
Yeah.
There's a reason that you were an alternate. There's a reason
God.
that you didn't even. I think she got a medal only because Simone pulled out and she had to step in as an alternate.
Sorry.
Oh, Laura
I'm
Hernandez.
like uncomfortable.
Oh, sorry. Well, these couches are the fucking worst. I hate these couches.
Sorry, everybody.
We're getting new ones soon. But yeah, I think, I think
Yeah, you
it's
laid it all out there.
I did lay it all out there. That was a lot for me. That was a lot of fun for me. I can't wait to watch it unfold. I think if there's one thing we're gonna see this Olympics is that, like, if there's one thing we can bank on, Jordan Childs is gonna have fun. I don't know if
There we go.
I don't know if you've ever seen this girl's interviews or anything. She is just a blast. She's always having fun. She did the little snow angel and the confetti.
Mhm.
She jumps up and down. And, like, I think, like, every single person that walked out once they heard their name get called that they made the team, they were all crying. It was all real. And it's like, they've already made the Olympics and this is how they were acting. I think the only person that wasn't crying when they walked out was Hesley. And then they interviewed her afterwards and she was just like, yeah, I'm dreaming. Like, she had just, like, little 16-year-old Hesley had no idea what was going on. Like, she obviously knew what was going on, but, like, look at her right there. There's not a thought behind that.
She's a little baby.
I think she's probably just like, don't shit yourself. Like, that's literally probably what it is, because she didn't even cry. But, like, if you look, her dad and all the interviews sobbing. It's him recording, not even looking, because he can't watch in case she messes up. And then the mom, like, the wife is like, here we go. And he's just like, oh my God.
He's stressing.
I know. Yeah, I can go on, but I'm gonna hold back because we're already at 40 minutes. That was awesome for me. Sav. Like,
right.
So how I am about gymnastics
Is
is how Sav's about to be for this.
All right. So I think before we jump into the meat of what it is, we're talking about the San Diego Wave allegations that dropped a couple days ago. Before we get into the details of all of that, I think it's important to note that the San Diego Wave had fired their former head coach, Casey Stoney, which was kind of shocking because since the San Diego Wave joined the NWSL, they had been, like, kind of unbelievably competitive. Like, they had always been good. And they were on a 7-game win. Like, they had lost 7 games or were searching for a win at the time that Stoney was fired. So they hadn't been winning, which is, not ideal and not what you want. But in the 4 years that Stoney was the manager of the team, they won an NWSL Shield and they won a Challenger Cup. So
they win in or whatever.
Yeah. And then a few months before getting fired, Stoney signed. Can you not? That idea.
So sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
These couches are just literally the freaking worst. Like, I just feel like if I'm not sitting on top of you.
I know, we're very close.
Oh, God. It's terrible.
Anyways.
So sorry.
A few months before the firing, she signed an extension to stay with the team until 2027. So not only was this, like, unbelievably shocking, there were plans to keep her on and keep her as the head coach. But ultimately didn't work out that way. So now I'm switching from my little cheat sheet paper to my phone because that's where I have all the notes. So basically...
Oh, you don't keep them in the frontal lobe?
No, I don't memorize things like that, unfortunately. I'm like, I have so much adrenaline, I'm shaking. Like, I'm so excited. It's really bad. So basically, if you hadn't been following, it came out. So this former employee, her name is Brittany Alvarado. She was a former video and creative manager for the San Diego Wave. And she came out on, it must have been Wednesday, right? Wednesday morning. And she made this whole...
it was Tuesday. No, Wednesday morning. You're so right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It was Wednesday morning. I remember.
So she came out on Wednesday, and I won't read the whole statement, but she basically has said since 2014, she's dedicated her career to working for the NWSL and, like, really loved it. It was more or less her dream job. Last year, she joined San Diego Wave and, like, really had a good time and enjoyed her time working there. But since the team's inception, she said, over 30 employees have been fired or quit, with nearly 75% of them being women, underscoring the deep issues within the club. Sadly, many of these employees are hesitant to speak publicly about their experiences, reflecting the widespread fear surrounding these issues. Regardless of repeatedly highlighting these pervasive issues to the NWSL, the league has consistently failed to take meaningful action and has instead turned a blind eye to the pattern of profoundly damaging behaviors. Their investigations into these matters were notably negligent, further exacerbating the disregard for the well-being of those affected. On behalf of myself and my former colleagues, the treatment we endured under club president Jill Ellis is a big name. If you don't know why, I'll talk about it in a second, has been nothing short of life-altering and devastating to our mental health. She has compromised countless lives to advance her narcissistic personal agenda, fostering an environment where abusive behaviors among her subordinates are allowed to flourish. And that's big. Those are big claims.
I just to make it about me for 30 seconds, Sav sent me this, and I literally was like gasping because I knew, not because, okay, this is going to sound bad, not because I cared that much, because I was just gasping because I knew how much of a big deal it was for her, that I was like geeking out for her. And she was like, text me, she's like, we need to talk about this, we need to do this, blah, 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 blah. And like, my phone, if you don't know, is always on Do Not Disturb.
Correct.
Which pisses a lot of people off.
Correct.
But I have it so that certain people can come through, and Savs are coming through. And I'm like looking at it. I'm at an eyelash appointment. I
can't fucking read.
I'm at an eyelash appointment, and I'm literally trying like my absolute hardest to try and like read these. And I have like one eye open, and I'm like, can I respond in like 20 or so? And like, this was me.
Yeah, Kelsey sent me this picture of her.
I'm like eyes closed.
Dead.
Like,
you look like a corpse. Anyway, so basically, after she says what I just read to you, she basically calls for the NWSL to take immediate action and remove Jill Ellis from the San Diego Wave and from the league entirely, because all of these issues have been neglected for far too long. And then she talks about some other stuff, but let's first talk about Jill Ellis. So if you don't know who Jill Ellis is, Jill Ellis was the former head coach of the U.S. Women's National Team before Vlatko Ananovsky took over after her retirement in 2019. After she retired, she became the president of the San Diego Wave, because the San Diego Wave joined the league in 2020. The big thing about Jill Ellis is that there have been there have been a handful of former players under Jill Ellis who have talked about the type of person and the type of coach that she is. Some notable names are Hope Solo, a former goalie, Sydney Leroux, a former player in the field, and Allie Krieger, a former player in the field. And Hope Solo basically was just like, yeah, I don't like her coaching style. Like, I don't enjoy it. Like, she's not a good coach. She's not a good leader. She's just not, like, we don't vibe well, basically. And then Sydney Leroux had said that Ellis had dismissed the idea of calling her up because she had a, quote, really poor 2016 season. This was in an article that was published by the Orlando Sentinel in 2020. But Sydney Leroux didn't play the 2016 season at all because she was pregnant. So the reason one can assume the reason why Sydney Leroux didn't get a call up was because she didn't play. But it's not because she didn't play, or it's not because she didn't play good. She didn't play at all because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
I think I fumbled that a little bit. But one can assume that she didn't call her up because she was pregnant. I don't think it's out of the box to question that. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not Jill Ellis. I don't know the details. But one person can jump to those conclusions. Leroux also said in that same story with the Orlando Sentinel, I can say that we won in spite of her. She's not good for people's mental health. That's for sure. That's for sure. And I think that's kind of, somebody should have bookmarked that and remembered that, because that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Mental health in terms of this. So basically after Brittany Alvarado made this statement, she also included that the San Diego Wave hadn't really done anything in terms of dealing with the consequences that came out from the Sally Yates report in 2022. And if you don't know about the Sally Yates report, it was this big document that basically exposed all of the mistreatment of players in the NWSL by people in power, like head coaches and people in the staff like that, who were assaulting and abusing their players. Really bad stuff. things that should have never happened in the first place, but unfortunately did. And she basically says in her claims that San Diego Wave have done nothing in terms of like upholding the like policies and things they have to do to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen again. She's basically saying the San Diego Wave have ignored it. So after Brittany made her statement, there was another woman who had responded to her tweet, and she had said, let me just find it really quick. I have them all bookmarked on my Twitter. Oh, actually, before I jump into that, she also shared that so basically how it all ended up was that Brittany Alvarado resigned from her position. She couldn't take it anymore. The mental abuse was not okay. She then included in her statement that 10 days after she resigned, she received an email from somebody who was a senior leader. And it says, the subject line is pathetic. And the email says, "You are the most pathetic person I've ever met. You must have no sense of work ethics or integrity. We are ecstatic that you are no longer with the club." This is sent from that employee's work email, their San Diego Wave email. Mm-hmm. So basically she puts this out, and another woman comes forward. Her name is Jenny Chang, and she basically said that while working there for the San Diego Wave, she was placed on suicide watch, and she begged for help while her mental health declined rapidly, and she was pressured to resign instead. "After a failed attempt, I left to save myself. It breaks my heart that nothing has changed in the past few years." She also said then, when she was considering freelancing for the Wave after she had resigned, they offered to pay her $200 per game, but told her white male friend they would pay him $1,000 plus per game. So that's a big deal. That's not good. That's not okay.
That's not very Title IX.
Yeah, pretty much. And she said, "I've stayed silent after I got a taste of retaliation, and I'm fearful since I still work in women's soccer. But my silence has contributed to more people enduring the same abuse. We need to protect people on and off the field." So then Brittany makes this statement, let's call it at 12 o'clock. By 2:45, the San Diego Wave come out and make a statement. And their statement is as follows. "San Diego Wave FC has been made aware of a recent social media post by a former employee that contains inaccurate and defamatory statements about the club. Not only does the post contain a fabricated email, the email I just talked about, but the claims made therein are categorically false, including ones directed at our president, Jill Ellis. San Diego Wave FC is currently reviewing this situation, and it intends to pursue all legal avenues available to appropriately address this matter." So instead of making a neutral statement, I will say that they made a statement that is out for blood.
I feel like it's a good one.
I feel like is a good way to describe it.
As someone who has a undergrad in PR, if you guys would like to use my services, please let me know, because I feel like you need them.
So basically, I don't know. I'm not in the situation. I don't work there. I don't know anything really about the San Diego Wave's internal handling of matters. But I wouldn't make this statement. And I wouldn't either. Yeah, and I saw something that was also really important, I think, to talk about, is that the person who ever had to make this statement is probably dealing with the same kind of mental...
allegations.
Not
allegations, but
she's dealing with the same
things,
they are dealing with the same mental abuse that must
be. When I meant allegations, the allegations being put forward, she's probably feeling them as well. That's how I meant to say
So no shade to the person who wrote it, but I think doubling down, especially in an environment where all the eyes are on you now, because this has come up, and this is huge.
I would just say, in the matter of the fact that, I don't foresee them winning in this. Mm-hmm. This is going to be very hard to shake. So,
how can you make how can you do an in-depth, thorough investigation in 2.5 hours after an allegation comes through? And to just throw out that
it wouldn't be in depth the way it needs to be.
Yeah, and just to basically be oh yeah, she's lying. The email is false. We're a good club. Jill Ellis is perfect. None of that sits well with me, and a lot of the people who read it.
Do you have the one what Alex Morgan said?
Yeah, let me pull that up. So then, as all of this also is coming out, that's a good point. Alex Morgan, who plays for San Diego Wave, she said, "I'm disappointed to hear about the allegations made by by multiple former Wave FC employees today. As players, we have worked hard to build a team that is surrounded by an inclusive, positive, and safe environment. But it's important to me that we are creating an environment for both players and staff throughout the entire organization. Equity in the workplace is something I have and will always continue to advocate for. I want to be proud of what we are building at the Wave, but it is clear that there is so much work to be done. So
That's an understatement, love.
So I think Alex Morgan is kind of on the money with it, though, because, like, she probably can't say so much. And the way she's treated compared to, like, people who work in the front office is very different.
I was going to say, she's probably tied into a thick contract.
Yeah.
Like
but I think she's Alex Morgan. Like, she's going to get treated differently.
Yes.
And then, so basically after all this, more and more employees started to come forward. Another woman who was a former senior communications manager basically was just like, was my dream job. I uprooted my whole life to move to San Diego. And she opened up to her boss about her mental health and working in this unhealthy work environment. She was basically forced to take a leave to address her personal issues and work performance, and then she was terminated from the job.
Well,
that's bad. Like, that's a terrible way to handle the way your employees feel. And I also feel like if you have 30 people who are coming forward and be like, my mental health sucks, it's not the random chance that 30 people are all going through a mental health crisis at the same time. That would be, like, unbelievable odds.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something in the front office. Obviously, we don't know. We can't insinuate anything. But based upon the facts that we have about Jill Ellis, the facts that we have about the NWSL as an organization, like we had just mentioned the Sally Yates report, and all these players going through, like, unbelievable turmoil because of people in power abusing the power, I personally would not be shocked to see that this is all true. That if they do this investigation and they find that it's true, that will not surprise me. Do I think Jill Ellis will ever be fired and held accountable? Absolutely not. Jill Ellis is such a big juggernaut in the United States women's sports
I think
scene.
she's put on such a pedestal that it's going to be very hard to you were saying.
And I think based upon what those former players said about playing with her on the national team at the national level, like, Jill Ellis is looked at as such a good coach because the U.S. women's national team was arguably at its peak when she was coach. But you also have to remember that those rosters were unbelievably stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were good rosters. They were good players. So it's really easy to show up and do your job when you have players,
best of the best,
when you have
on
the
your
most
lineup.
unbelievably talented players in the world. So obviously the results are going to speak for themselves.
Absolutely.
I can't say, like, Jill Ellis is a bad coach. She obviously had to be a good coach at some point to get to that position and work the role she works. But it's just sad. And I've talked about the NWSL a lot in my life as a reporter, as a human being, as a sports fan. And the NWSL is really at an interesting crossroads, I think, right now, because not only 2 years ago did you have the Sally Yates report where all the news came out, and you're trying to fix that, and you're trying to make the NWSL a better place. Now you've got these allegations coming out that everybody's talking about how, okay, well, first your players are being assaulted, now your employees are all on suicide watch. Like, those are two not good looks for a league that's trying to grow and become one of the biggest soccer leagues in the world for women's soccer. And they have such a unique position to do it because they have so much support, because in the United States, women's soccer is so popular because these players on the national team have made it so popular. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the NWSL handles this and what type of review they do. I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is Brittany making these assumptions or making these statements saying that they have done nothing in terms of the Sally Yates report, because that was huge. That was big and heartbreaking because nobody should have to go through that, But, some people are a little crazy and a little messed up in the head, and they get in a position of power and feel as though that they can abuse people below them because they'll do whatever they want. And that's not fair. That's not okay. And that's not behavior that a league should condone. And by staying silent and doing nothing, the league is perpetuating the idea that people in power can do whatever they want and use these people as disposable beings, which they're not. Mental health is huge. We were just talking about it with Simone Biles. Mental health is unbelievably more talked about now than it ever has been.
It's overdue.
And it makes me really sad to think about because, like, I would love to have the opportunity to work for a women's sports team. And I'm sure you would too.
Absolutely.
And the last thing I would want is to work in an environment where I'm feeling unsupported, I'm feeling burnt out, I'm feeling like I'm just in such a terrible place. And instead of trying to help me, my employer says, oh, well, take a leave, and then fires me. Like, what are you solving and what are you doing? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of it plays out, to see how that investigation goes. It breaks my heart. I love the NWSL and I love women's soccer, and it breaks my heart to see that there's still so much growing room to be had in a league that has the opportunity to do so good.
Here's the last thing that Nick just put in.
Uh-huh.
The false allegations in today's post are not only personally damaging, but also take away from the incredible work and progress we've achieved together as a team. It's important to address this information promptly and effectively, Ellis said. When allegations of mistreatment have been made, we have taken them seriously, investigated them thoroughly. In addition, when appropriate, independent third parties have assisted us in evaluating our workplace. At no time have those evaluations... And then it cut off. So I think he.
But so
yeah.
I mean, Jill Ellis is the president of the club. She probably has to say something like that.
Mm-hmm. I think they're in full damage control right now.
Yeah, and I really don't see a world like it feels like such a waste of time to make up that. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like, and if you have other people coming forward, and Sydney Leroux has even come forward and been like, have you ever had an experience where you were feeling something, but you weren't sure if it was bad, but then other people start talking about it, and so then you realize you all kind of had the same bad experience? You know, the evidence is right there. Like, you have all of these people coming forward. I don't think 30 people, like she says, 30 people resigned, and 75% of them are women. I don't think any of these women who are coming forward or any of these people who are coming forward would all collectively get together and lie just to make Jill Ellis look bad. And again, it might not even be Jill Ellis. You know, it could just be other people in the system who are abusing their power. But at the end of the day, like, Jill Ellis is the president of the club, and she has an obligation to make sure everything's okay. And it's not. And that's a problem. And that's something that needs to be addressed. That's it. That's all I've got, I feel like, on it. I've said my piece, and I hope it gets better, and I hope we see improvements. This along with the gymnastics stuff, Kelsey and I are going to be following pretty closely, so you'll probably hear updates about it.
For sure.
But, like, so sorry to end Game Changers on, like, such a like, sad note.
Well, we don't have to. I mean, we could always just be like, hey. No.
Well, I will say, you know, mental health is so important. So please, if you are not feeling your best, it's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to reach out to your friends and check on them and make sure.
I'm a big check-in person.
Yeah, make sure the people.
I'm always checking in.
Make sure the people in your life are feeling good. Make sure you yourself are feeling good. You're not alone in whatever mental health struggles you're going through. Trust me, I go through a lot of them. We're here for you. The people around you are here for you. But you know,
Agreed.
That's all we got.
Well said.
You know, take care of yourself out there.
On a more positive note, just thank you guys for continuing to listen to us yap. We said it from the start. We were going to be D1 Yappas today.
D1 Yappers, and I think we achieved it.
That's what we were. This is our longest ep so far.
Probably.
No, it is. It says it up there.
Oh, our little recording tag?
Yeah, it's our longest episode so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to follow us on all social media platforms with our tag.
At Game Changers ETB, baby. We'll see you there.
What Sab said. We should just put that on a shirt and just be like.
Yeah, point to it.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We will catch y'all on
next week.
Next
Sunday, baby.
Yay!